The power of the riff compels me! Why? Because Corrosion of Conformity are back with what is considered to be their classic lineup, a new album in no cross, no crown, and you should be listening to them, you arsehole! You stupid, stupid arsehole! Oh. This is the band's 10th studio album, and it's the first containing their, what many consider to be their classic lineup since 2005's In the Arms of God. The classic lineup, of course, being Pepper Keenan on guitar and vocals, Mike Dean on bass, Reed Mullin on drums, and Woody Weatherman on guitar. And it's pretty fair to say that this album, No Cross, No Crown, picks up from where In the Arms of God left off. And this was an intentional thing. The band, I think, reformed back in 2014, got together for a bunch of live dates, which extended into more and more live dates. They kept getting offering tours with Lamb of God. I think they went out with, who else did they go out with? Clutch, Black Label, and yeah, after about what turned out into about 2 years of touring, made the band realise that they were still a very, very, oh God. Yeah, maybe getting back together, reinvigorated the band, realised what a fantastic band they were, how well they worked together. I'm sure the fact that Phil Anselmo's white power outburst at the infamous Dime Bash, was it 2016? I think it was 2016, January 2016. Yeah, I'm sure the fact that Phil had his well, whatever, let's not get into that. It wasn't good, was it? But yeah, so I'm sure that all contributed to Pepper rejoining the band and refocusing his efforts on Corrosion of Conformity, which is no bad thing, because we got a new Corrosion of Conformity album, and fantastic it is as well. Musically speaking, this album pretty much takes up from where In the Arms of God left off. Now, Corrosion of Conformity they've got a number of different styles that they've gone through over the years. They started out, of course, 1984, I think it was 1984. Big Brother is watching you. 2 + 2 = 5. Yeah, I think they started in 1984 with Eye for an Eye, where they were much more of a hardcore band. Pepper wasn't in the band. Can't remember the exact lineup. Moving through to Blind, which which brought in a lot more metal influences, before going into Deliverance and Wise Blood, which is much more in line with where you're going to be with this album. More of the stoner sort of Doom, Sabbath inspired riffs that we all know and love from Pepper Keenan, who of course was in the supergroup Down, when you can hear his southern tinged riffs all over that band's discography. So that's where this album is. Subscribe. Now, apparently the title for the album came from when they were doing a gig in Colchester, England. I can't remember the name of the exact church. Perhaps I should have looked at that before doing this. But it was a church that was pretty much ruined in the Second World War, and has now been redesigned as an art centre. And in the dressing room of this venue was I guess it was a stained glass window, and inscribed in it was "No Cross, No Crown," which apparently Pepper Keenan wrote down as he thought that might come in handy, and sure enough it went on to become the name of the album. I think there's religious themes all over this album. Apparently the recording process for this album involved Pepper flying in from New Orleans to meet the rest of the band, and they would record or rehearse for 3 or 4 days at a time, and over these days they'd come up with song ideas. So the songs were created in quite short bursts, but very intensely. I wasn't there. In regards to influences for the album stylistically, soundscape wise. Of course you got Black Sabbath, but there's also elements of Allman Brothers, that Southern Boogie style riffing of the Allman Brothers, Lynyrd Skynyrd, as well as bands, dual guitar bands like Thin Lizzy, and also Queen. Twat! Ah! Who they do an excellent cover of Son and Daughter on this album. Really, really worth checking that one out. They did a solid job. First track is Novus Deus, and this is a short instrumental piece. There's a few of these peppered. There's a few of these peppered throughout the album. This one works very well. It introduces you with a real doom-laden riff, which is later harmonised with the guitars. It only lasts about a minute or so before going into the first song, The Luddite. Oh, do I like this song? Do I love this song? Great riff, Pepper's all over this album. His vocals are just on point. Such a strong performance. The whole band, in fact, is just so in sync. You can tell the years of touring that they've done building up to this album has all been worth it. Great performances throughout. The Luddite, I'll put a link for the video down below. I think that was only released not so long ago. I will put a link for the Luddite video down below. Make sure you check that out. Great start to an album. Then we go into Cast the First Stone, which was appropriately enough the first single to be released. Let fans know exactly what they could expect from the album. I think this got a lot of people excited. It's like, okay, this sounds like something we can get behind, and it is. Great song. Subscribe to the channel, innit? Next up we have No Cross. Now this is another small interlude piece, which is a foreshadowing of what will come later on in the album for the actual title track itself, before going into what would be the second single, Wolf Called Crow. Wolf Named Crow. Another great song, another good video for this one. I shall put that also down in the description below, so make sure you check that one out. Well worth your time. Support the band, buy the album, check out their social media. Do that with all artists, man. I mean, if you're a metalhead, we're already under the cosh enough as it is, so yeah, support the music. Just reminding myself of Little Man, I didn't write any notes for this. Well, I think that says it all. Nice bit of southern groove. Nice. We got a nice little southern acoustic piece next, in another interlude piece called, what was it? Matre's DM. Matre DM. God. Uneducated asshole. And followed by one of the standout tracks. I mean, The Luddite is probably one of the best songs on the album. Forgive Me, this next song. Whew! This is a groover. I love the groover. Oh, what an asshole. Yeah, really, it's got a real... Forgive Me is a really, really good song. There's elements of Thin Lizzy's Emerald on this in the phrasing, the way it's some of the chord structures and Pepper's vocals, particularly at the beginning of the song. But amazing song, absolute standout track. If nothing else, check this song out. Forgive Me, standout track on the album. Nothing left to see. Yeah, this one kind of reminds me of Learn From This Mistake from Down 2. As Pepper had a hand in writing that song, there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Dig it! Another short interlude piece with Sacred Isolation. Kind of Thin Lizzy style guitar leads on this one. Old Disaster got some real groove and swagger. ELM. Why haven't I written anything for this? Be-diddly doobie, a shubbity dum. Again those Thin Lizzy style harmonised guitars on a riff that wouldn't yet again be out of place on the Down album. All good. Utilising my time. Everything is just fine. Line. Next up is the title track itself, No Cross, No Crown. I've heard a few people say a bit underwhelmed by this, but I think this is an awesome track. Really atmospheric, very reminiscent of Neurosis. I found some of their more, well, I'm going to say darker moments when there's a light moment on a Neurosis album. But the vocals are kind of very reminiscent of Scott Kelly. And yeah, very Neurosis vibe to this. Really trippy, psychedelic, nasty. Yeah, I love it. Biddly booby, a shubbity dumby. Now, the track 14, which is the last original song, of the album, is a quest to believe, a call to the void. This is a very Sabbath-influenced, doom-laden song to go out on, before going into an epic cover of Queen's Son and Daughter. I wasn't expecting this on here. When I first heard it, I was like, what? I just heard that opening high-pitched blend of guitar and vocals. And Pepper, I mean, he's no Freddie Mercury, let's be quite honest about this, but he does a solid job on this song, and they certainly do it to their own style. I guess the riff in this song is kind of the easier, the one that lends itself to a Corrosion of Conformity album more than anything else. It's definitely got a Black Sabbath vibe to the riff, and they do a solid job on this song. So overall, I am going to give this album a 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. A lot of people have been complaining that it's too long. Then simply go to the next song, or they don't connect with it too much. I don't connect with it. Well, fuck off. It's a good album, man. It's a damn good album. I don't think it's too long at all. And if you don't want to listen to a song, skip it. Or you're probably listening to it on your phone or your iPod or whatever anyway, so just make a playlist that takes certain songs out. It's not a problem. So yeah, 9 out of 10. Great performances from all the members of the band. Great to see yet again an older band returning to the fore and showing some of the younger guys how to do it. Nothing too complex with this album, just damn good songs played well by people who've been doing it for a long time. That's the thing with metal. It's the thing with metal, when you're into metal, it's a lifelong thing. You're a metalhead for life, and bands like this, that shows you exactly why. You don't get this in pop music. So that was Corrosion of Conformity, No Cross, No Crown. Great album. Stick around for, make sure that you subscribe, because there's still a lot of great albums, I'm sure, coming out this year, but January especially. Next week there's Black Label Society and Phil Anselmo's latest effort. The week after will be the release of Catharsis by Machine Head, which a lot of people are looking out for. I can't wait to review that album. Make sure you come back, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, comment, let me know what you think, let me know your thoughts on the album, and yeah, get notifications, share, do whatever, mate. I'm not begging you.